going. Hair's look good. My hair looks good.
My hair's okay.
Hey everybody, I'm Tim with the Tim Whittemore Group.
And I'm Michelle Whitaker.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about renting versus buying, which is on everybody's mind, it seems like, when they're purchasing a home. I know I rented forever when I was in the military, and I kind of wish that I bought back then, but can't predict the market, right?
That's true.
All right, so let's start off. The cost of buying versus owning your home. Let's talk about owning your home. So the upfront costs. What are some of the upfront costs? Well, what do we get?
Well, first things first is once you put an offer in on a house and you go back and forth and your offer gets accepted, you're expected to pay EMD money. What is EMD money? It's earnest money. So that's normally around $1,000 to 1%. And that's basically saying that you're serious about this transaction, you're getting some skin in the game.
Exactly. Yeah, it's basically good faith money to say that, hey, I'm serious. The next is your down payment. Now, down payment could be anywhere between 3.5% and up. Now, if you are a veteran or you have here in Florida, a USDA loan, you can get as much as zero down. Now, there are some loan products out there if you've got good enough credit where you can get a conventional with zero down. And just contact one of us and we'll give you the scoop on that.
Yeah. All right, so the next thing we have is the home appraisals. You want to get your home appraised to know that your loan is going to be the amount of your house. So you're not going to have a loan that is less than what your house is worth, or more than your house is worth.
They're probably not going to give you the loan for that, or you're going to have to throw some money on top.
Right.
You also have your home inspection. Now, this is different from the appraisal. The bank's doing the appraisal. That's their inspection. But you're going to have the option to have your own inspection and get a third-party person to go in there and to say, hey, this is what's wrong. Just know when you get your inspection, unless it's a brand new home, there's going to be something wrong with it. So just anticipate that.
Yep. So another thing that is a cost of home buying is property taxes. We have them everywhere. So you'll have property taxes, but it also is, you can have deductions with your taxes.
Right. Yeah, and those property taxes too, just know that you're going to be paying them a year in advance. It's part of these closing costs, and most states do it that way as well. You also have your first year homeowner's insurance. So you get to shop around to see which one that you want, but the bank's not going to let you go ahead and purchase a house if you don't have it insured. Same thing with purchasing a car. So that's going to be another thing, kind of like your taxes where you're paying like a year ahead of time and then prorated throughout the year.
Right. So other closing costs will be in there as well, such as your inspection, your appraisal taxes, we've talked about that, insurance, and other things, but those are all going to be bundled into your closing costs.
It's a lot of fees that they throw in, and I think it's just a lot of the bank and the government getting their money, if you ask me.
I agree.
Now, there are some reoccurring costs that we have in here. Of course, a loan payment, you're probably going to be paying that once a month, so that's something to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, are those property taxes?
Mm-hmm. Yep, they've got them in there. And your homeowner's insurance. Now, the last two that we just talked about, those are usually into your loan. Your bank is going to kind of put those together and have you one payment, but that's what we call the escrow, which are those two last items.
Or another one is PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. If you happen to get a conventional loan or FHA loan, you'll have something similar to that if you don't put 10 to 20% down.
Right. And utilities. Now, this is the same when you're renting a property as well. You're going to have to pay for electric, gas, if there's gas, water, sewage, all that sort of stuff.
Right. Also maintenance, regular maintenance on the house, air filters, anything that really you need to do to maintain your home.
Your HVAC's going out, it's not heating or cooling the house, which is happening to me right now. It's very frustrating.
No.
All right, there are some special one-time costs with purchasing a house. Well, you got to get it furnished. Well, you don't have to, but most people want to get it furnished, so you're going to have to find some furniture to actually put in there that's going to fit in the house and make it look pretty.
Yes, and also one-time cost would be moving. You've got to pay to move.
Right.
Although ERA does have an awesome moving van that we could schedule and hold up. So, moving costs. You'll have to get a U-Haul if you don't reserve the ERA moving van, and things of that nature.
Yes, we're always shamelessly promoting our brokerage. Also, repairs. So repairs could mean anything from as soon as you move in to the repairs that may not have been fixed during your inspection period. Maybe you ding some stuff up during that move. Those are some repairs that you might have to deal with.
All right, so another one-time cost might be investment or renovation repairs or projects. So unless you're moving into a brand new house, there's probably some things that you want to fix up, or maybe you just want to personalize your home and put your own touch on it. Those are some things that you might have to consider as a one-time cost.
Yeah, you see those awesome 70s style like kitchens, then you're like, if you don't want to go back in time and you kind of want the modern one, you might want to fix it up early before you move all your stuff in. Have you done a renovation while you lived in a house?
Yes, not fun.
It's not fun.
Not fun. All right, so costs of renting your home. There are some upfront costs when it comes to that, and we're going to talk about those now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of them is going to be a security deposit.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's normally like your deposit in case anything happens to the apartment or house that you're renting.
Yeah, and it's typically the first month's rent plus like an extra $500 or whatever it is. At least that's what it is around here. That's what I've been typically seeing. And don't forget your first month's rent. You're going to have to bring that up front. Here's something that you may not know. When you rent, you're going to have to pay for every month at the first day for the preceding 30 days. When you have a mortgage, it's at the end. So even when you purchase a house, you're going to have another at least 30 days after that before you're going to have to pay for your mortgage payment.
Nice.
Isn't that cool?
Yes. So there's also non-refundable deposits. A lot of those are like your pet deposits and things of that nature. If you have pets and you want them to live with you, then you're going to have to pay that non-refundable pet deposit.
Even if you keep them outside, they're going to see them and they're probably still going to charge you.
Yep.
Things we already talked about before, it's moving cost. It still costs money to move.
Yep. So some reoccurring costs with living in an apartment or renting a home is going to be your monthly rent. We kind of touched on that already, but yes, you will pay rent.
And you're probably going to pay for that pet that we talked about, so you're going to have that pet rent as well. Some of the landlords are going to make you do that.
Yep. And renter's insurance. Renter's insurance is fairly cheap, but you're still going to have to pay for that monthly, or you should pay for that. Otherwise, you could lose everything.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, and it's really just contents is what they call it. So if you got this big, nice TV and then something comes through, or especially here, if a hurricane...
Alive?
We came back. You gotta love live video.
Oh, yes.
People just want to talk to me, and we're on our phone right now. Anyway, the renter's insurance, like we were talking about, if a hurricane does blow through and you got nice TVs and stuff that you couldn't take when you were evacuating, it'd be nice to get that back, right?
Absolutely.
Utilities, just like when you own a home, you got to do all the utilities. Most of the time it's not included, at least I'm not seeing a lot of it here, but you're going to have to pay for your electric, your gas, and anything else that's associated with that.
Yep. So another cost that could possibly, it's not as common, but if your apartment complex or the house that you're in does not have a washer and dryer, you're going to be paying extra money to go to a laundromat, and you get to hang out with all the people that are at the laundromat.
That might be an advantage, though.
It could be.
There's colorful people there.
Yeah.
I got a new friend. So advantages of buying. Let's go back to buying. So the first and the biggest one, I think, is you get to build equity in this house, which is awesome. If you think about it, when you rent a house, you're paying somebody else's mortgage, and you're losing, even if it's maybe a $200,000 house, you're still losing like $8,000 a year just in equity coming out of that per year. Our market right now has been going up about 4% each year. So just think of it that way. You can do the math for yourself, but building equity is a huge thing.
Absolutely. So also tax benefits. Owning a home, you get many benefits such as a homestead exemption, also federal tax discounts. You can write off the interest on your home, as well as other things.
Absolutely. The homestead that we have here in the state of Florida is fantastic. I mean, I think it was $25,000 if you're single, and if you're married, I think it's up to $50,000 or $55,000. I have to double check those numbers. I know where to find them. Don't mind me. You also have the potential for rental income, like we were just talking the other time. You can put a renter in there to pay for your all your fees in there, your mortgage, your tax, your insurance. Yeah, I looked at my cheat sheet, don't judge me. So those are some things. Now, if you get it at a good price and the market is going up, you can also make money through this time. And you can charge what you want. You're the landlord, right?
Sure. Also, there is more creative freedom. So you're able to do what you want in your own home. Whereas if you're renting, you can't change the wall color. You really can't change anything without the landlord's permission.
Yeah, you answer to no one.
Yep.
Unless there's an HOA.
True, but that's only on the exterior.
Yeah, that's true. Other is a sense of belonging to the community. Now, there's apps out there like Nextdoor and all these other things where you can be the homeowners. Well, I guess you could still do it as renters, but being a homeowner, you get to go out to the block parties, you get to be part of the homeowners association, actually be part of something that's making your community better. And I think that's pretty cool.
I think so too. So there are some disadvantages of buying a home, such as the risk for potential loss.
Right.
And that's only if the market crashes or something of that nature, or fire, but then you have insurance to cover you in that case.
Right. Yeah, the market statistically for housing has been going up consistently. I mean, we're real estate agents, so I mean, of course, we're going to be on the buying side. But quite honestly, if you're holding it over time, it should go up in value. However, we can't predict the market. People try, but even if it goes down, eventually it's going back up.
Yep.
The responsibility of maintenance and repair is on you as a homeowner. And that's one disadvantage there. You can't just call the landlord and be like, hey, this is fixed. I ain't got to do anything.
Right. So another thing is that most homes aren't sold furnished. You might have come across a house that's furnished, and that's really lucky. That's like the magical unicorn of home buying. But most houses, you're going to have to provide your own furniture or go out shopping and have to buy some.
Now, I'm not sure if I would trust the furniture that's actually in some of those places.
I definitely wouldn't.
I don't know who was on there.
Right.
Hashtag bedbugs.
Yeah. That's my thoughts exactly.
Now, again, as we had mentioned earlier, there are high upfront costs in purchasing a house. We have the closing costs, the down payment, those sort of things, and of course getting the loan. The loan's a big cost. Or if you have cash, that's even better, but it's still a big cost at the beginning.
All right, so what are the advantages of renting? There is no responsibility of maintenance repair. You call the landlord and say, hey, this is broke, can you come fix it? That is definitely an advantage of renting, but then again, you're missing out on other advantages of being a homeowner.
I think I saw a comedian, his name was Mitch Hedberg, and he was walking in and he's like, I don't ever go to Lowe's, why would I go there? There's no reason to. Why don't we have a place for renters where we just stand around looking at each other and like, we don't have to fix anything. Okay, so for advantages for renting, the next is relocating. It's so much easier because you just have to put a notice and you can get out of the lease. If you're a military guy, you usually have a military clause to be able to get you out within a decent amount of time. Caveat to that, if you just got in to a lease, you may still have to pay all the way up until the end of the lease to get out of that. A lot of them won't let you get out early. However, you know exactly what time you can get out of that.
All right, so you have no exposure to the real estate market. If you're a renter, you just don't know about it because you're not looking.
You don't know what the market's doing, and frankly, you don't care. As long as you got a roof over your head and it's cool or warm, depending on whatever the temperature is outside. Right. So that's a landlord's problem. Credit requirements are typically a lot more lenient when you're going to go ahead and get a renter, or when you are a renter. You don't have to have the minimums to meet the loans. It's pretty nice, and it allows you to build up enough of your credit score in order to maybe purchase a home down the road. Yep. It sounds like that's the way to go. I might be biased.
So another thing that is an advantage of renting is that some of your utilities may be included in your rent. So you're not paying all of electricity, gas, water, trash, and all those things. Some of those are included sometimes when you're renting.
Absolutely. Now, some disadvantages of renting, which we probably already hit on, you're not building any equity. Again, throwing probably an average of $8,000 out the window every single year, just by doing that.
And another disadvantage is you get no tax benefit from it, none whatsoever.
There's not even a space when you're filing online to do that. Like, I wish there were. I mean, I could have got some good money there. All right, here's a big one. And I know I've run into it when I was renting up in New York and even down here in Florida. Limited control over rising rental cost. That means that once your lease is up, that landlord could charge whatever they want in increasing rent, and they typically do. It could be anywhere from $25 extra a month up to over $100, which I saw in one of the apartments that I was in upstate New York. And it was very frustrating because there was nothing you could do, and then you'd have to come out of pocket to move. With a mortgage, you know what it is indefinitely for the next 30 years or 15 years, whatever the term of it is.
Right. So another disadvantage is limited housing security.
Yeah.
When you are in a lease, your landlord could give you an eviction notice with 30 to 60 days with no cause. So that is always a gamble, and I mean, hopefully that doesn't ever happen, but I'm sure it does because it's here. So
yeah, that security can be for whatever reason, whether they want to put their son-in-law in there, whether they want to sell the house. They could do whatever they want. It's their property, providing it isn't in violation of their lease. But a lot of states, that's what it is, 30 to 60 days, and you're out on the street. So that's all we have for the buying versus renting. And what do you think is a better option?
I'm going to go with buying.
I would have to say so too, but I'm also going to say it's situational. Some people that are just going to be in the area for a year or less, I'd say go ahead and rent. But if you're going to be sticking around anywhere for at least a year or two, especially in our market now, you're probably going to walk away with a little bit of extra money in your hand if you end up buying, or better yet, being a landlord, renting it out later.
There you go. Looking long term, seeing that investment. I like it.
All right. Well, thanks again for watching. If you like this content, make sure to like and share on whatever platform that you're on. And until next time, I'm Tim.
I'm Michelle.
See ya.